how the fuck is Ichigo gonna beat Yhwach Bach? Yhwach Bach is by far the strongest villain ever introduced in Bleach, right? He's probably one of the strongest villains ever introduced in anime, period. You know, because his power sort of exceeds just strength. You know, he has the ability to see the future and shit, which, you know, it's just impossible to counter no matter how strong. He's pretty much immortal. If you manage to kill or seal him or anything like that, then he comes back in 1,000 years, you know, bigger, badder, and stronger, right? So let me go through some of Yhwach Bach's powers, right? So you can start shitting your pants a little bit. And then I'll explain what I think is Ichigo's only path to beating him. My theory on how it's all going to go down. And pretty much how the series is going to end. So let's start with some of his powers. Yhwach Bach has the power of soul distribution, where he can give bits of his soul to the people around him. And with that, with receiving a piece of his soul, you get flawless healing, mental and spiritual, and physical healing, right? He has the power of power bestowal, is what it's called, where he can literally give powers to other people, is what he did with most of the Star Knights and Quincy's. He gave them power. He has the power of soul absorption, where he can take back the soul that he gives anyone. And when he takes that back, the catch is he takes your soul too, right? And that makes him stronger and live longer, right? He has the power of nocturnal power transfer, where currently he's only doing it with Hashwalt, but we're not too sure if he can do it with anyone else. He has the power of self-restoration, where he can restore any spiritual or physical impairments to himself. He has this weird power, which only came up recently, where if he infuses an object with his Ryatsu, he can force any Quincy who touches that object to attack the Soul King. And you know, it's a bit weird. We don't know yet because the way this power came into fruition is when he infused the sword that was in the Soul King with his own Ryatsu, and then Ichigo touched it, and he forced Ichigo to cut the Soul King in half. It's not quite obvious yet if he could have forced Ichigo to do a backflip if he wanted to, because that conversation sort of revolved around him saying, well, you have to attack the Soul King. So, but it doesn't really make sense to me that the only thing he can force you to do is attack the Soul King. Like, I think he can force you to do whatever the fuck he wants, right? He also has the power of the Almighty, which is the most broken thing ever. He has the power, any power that he knows or experiences cannot defeat him. He has the power to consume other beings, right? This is also under the Almighty power. He has the power of concussive force, where he can concentrate physical force remotely and cause internal or external damage to whoever the fuck he wants, right? He has the power to pretty much nullify and mimic any ability that sort of is targeted to him if he wants to. That's sort of all under the Almighty power. He has the power of all Quincy's, obviously, since he gave the Quincy's their powers and he could take them back whenever he wants. He's pretty much has all the Quincy powers, which, you know, when I think about the Star Knights and just how strong they are and how unique their abilities are, like the ability to control the level of lethal dose for anything, oxygen if you wanted to, it feels like, you know, if Yhwach Bach is an embodiment of all that, it's just, I can't even think about it, right? It's probably more broken than the Almighty power, right? He has Yamamoto's Bankai, Old Man Yama's Bankai, that he stole during his fight with Yama. He has the ability to see the future that I mentioned earlier, so he knows what's going to happen before you even do it. He has the ability to morph reality, right? So, you know, like when he rebuilt the Soul King's palace. It wasn't done. He didn't go out there and lay those bricks. He just sort of mentally made it happen. He's a Shadow Step Master, which he can move just, all that fast moving and stuff that Ichigo and all our favorite characters can do. He can do it and just as good or better. He has that blunt vein thing where his skin can come hard and he can't be pierced by certain attacks. He has immense spiritual power. You thought Kenpachi was bad. This guy is just as bad or worse with his Ryatsu and spiritual presence. He has enhanced physical strength. He has enhanced endurance. He's a proficient swordsman, right? He can clash with any of the captains that have been training in swordsmanship for years, for decades, right? Some of them for centuries, and hold his own or outswords them if he wanted to, just with his swordsmanship. He has crazy hand-to-hand combat as well. He can pretty much subdue Ichigo's Bankai with his bare hands. And the list goes on. I can literally go on a lot longer if I wanted to. This is just some of his fucking powers, okay? Are you scared yet? Oh, not to mention, the one that I forgot was, even if you manage to defeat him, he comes back. It takes him 900 years to regain his body, 90 years to regain his intelligence, 9 years to regain his power, and he comes back. And now apparently 9 days to conquer the world. I don't know why it's not 9 months, right? Because after years, you should probably go down to months, but and then weeks and then days. But whatever. It's 9 days to conquer the world. So even if you manage to sort of overpower him, he's not really dead. He's gonna come back, and that's not a very efficient way to take someone out, in my opinion. That's the problem that Omen Yama made. So now we get to the question of how the fuck is Ichigo gonna beat this guy? Is it even possible for him to be beaten? Right? So here's my theory. Listen, I didn't do any research on this theory, so I don't know if this theory already exists. Honestly, this is just me sitting down and thinking about it, and sort of where my brain led me. So there's no credit to anyone else for this theory. And I didn't build off of anyone else's thoughts or anything. This is all me sort of thinking about it for a bit, and I feel like something similar has to exist, but I'm just like that didn't influence me in any way. So here's my theory on how Ichigo is going to defeat Yhwach Bach. I think Ichigo is going to make a very strong connection with the Soul King and the Soul King's powers, and he's going to use that to defeat Yhwach. I think the fact that Yhwach absorbed the Soul King is going to play a huge part in his detriment, because the Soul King is currently in Yhwach's body in some way, shape, or form. And Ichigo's connection to that is going to allow him to almost attack Yhwach in a way that he has never been attacked before, and almost nullify his powers, his ability to see the future and such, right? Why do I think this? I think Ichigo has been getting primed throughout most of the series to be able to do this, to be the only person alive to do this. He's the only person in the series that I can think of who has the ability of, human Quincy, Hollow, and Shinigami, right? And the whole purpose of the Soul King is to maintain balance between these four, right? I think the Soul King is unique in that sense, right? That he probably also has all of these attributes. If he can maintain balance between them, they're all probably part of him or something like that, right? He's the whole, the oneness of all these different life forms, right? And Ichigo is sort of a new embodiment of that. And in that sense, I think Ichigo is going to make that connection with the Soul King, and then be able to somewhat control his powers, the Soul King's powers, in addition to his own powers, Ichigo's powers, to defeat Yhwach Bach. I think one of the reasons why it was revealed that Zangetsu is an embodiment of Yhwach Bach from 1,000 years ago, was to show that because of your sort of heritage, you can make because Ichigo is a Quincy, he can make a connection with sort of the Quincy god, right? Like a subconscious connection to the point where it could become his Zangetsu, his Zanpakuto, right? And I think with his new Zanpakuto, because it's revealed that he's more than just a Quincy, and we all know he's more than just that. He's all four of them. He is going to make a connection with the person who is all four of those things, which is currently the Soul King. And that sort of ties into how I think the series is going to end as well. I think the way the series is going to end is that after Ichigo gains sort of access to the Soul King's powers to defeat Yhwach Bach, he in essence sort of becomes Soul King for that fight at least, right? Because he gets access to the powers, and instead of like sort of becoming the permanent Soul King and maintaining balance and all this shit, I think what he's gonna do is disperse the Soul King's powers to each one of their sort of respective life forms, right? And sort of, in essence, nullify the Soul King's power and the need to regulate these life forms in one being. I think the reason why I believe this is because I think the whole point of Yhwach Bach existence is to be the yin to the Soul King's yang, to be the opposite of the Soul King to some extent. And I think if the Soul King doesn't exist, then there'll be no reason for an evil as strong as Yhwach Bach to exist ever again. And that will essentially be the ultimate trump card in sort of defeating Yhwach Bach. And I also think this wraps a nice little bow on everything because it makes Ichigo the most powerful character in the series, obviously, right? And that's sort of the goal of I think all shonen anime like this, right? Is that the main character eventually becomes like the king or the most powerful, and we're witnessing how they got to that point. And I think right now we're just witnessing how Ichigo became, as strong as the Soul King or stronger, which is essentially who is essentially God in this universe, right? And I also think what happens is with this happening, we, for example, the readers just so happen to exist in the human area of life, right? Which is sort of barred off from Soul Society and Hakamundo and the Shadow World where the Quincy's live and all that stuff, and and it just sort of almost ties into reality a bit. Which it may be a personal preference of mine, but I really like when authors sort of tie in their story with, this is what happened to set up reality. This is what happened to set up your existence currently, and I just think that would be really awesome. So that's my take. That's my theory. If you like it, let me know. If you see any inconsistencies or you feel like there's a reason why that can't happen, then please let me know. I would love to hear that. I would love to have a discussion about it. If you really like the theory, then share it. Let other people know. If you have a guy who has a conflicting theory, then let him know. And I would love for him to come and post a comment. I'll respond to every comment that I can. And if you have an idea about another video that you'd like to see me do, please let me know as well. I really appreciate that. I'm really enjoying making these videos. This is just my third one, and I'm having so much fun with it. Thank you guys so much. If you like this video, then just please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. I really, really appreciate that. I respond to every comment that I can. Thank you guys so much again. Have a good day. Bye.